Hello all, welcome back. Today we are going to continue our session with the schedulers. So topic for today is how can we create a scheduler that will run less than a minute? Means it will run for XYZ seconds which I am going to give it. For a time being, let's think it will run for n seconds. Let's think it will run for n seconds. So let's try to understand how does n seconds mean in real world. So for that, we are going to take a reference of our previous blog which we have written from our favorite site. We will go there. So we are going to have a look here. Okay, that basically we are going to run a scheduler which is going to run under 30 seconds. Let's take an example of n is 30. Or we will try to create a rule in which we can, change the seconds dynamically. So we know a 1 minute has 60 seconds, 1 hour has 60 minutes, and our total day has 24 hours. Now, if we go from the logical terms in Appian, the schedulers does not allow us to select seconds. It allows us to select from minute, hours, and days. So, which means it is easy to create a scheduler which runs for a whole day or which runs for hours, but or minutes, but not for any seconds. So which means if we calculate, we have a total of 86,400 seconds. And that's a quite impressive number. Now, as I have told, for this example, I'm going to use 30 seconds. You can use X seconds. So where X will be my interval where I'm going to run this particular period of time. Now, we know that we cannot have more than 100 parents, correct? Or we cannot have more than 100 childs of a parent. For example, there's a process A which has C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, 6. At C99 it will break or C100 it will break because it cannot have more than 100 childs. Now, we are going to play with this opportunity that we know it cannot have, a particular process cannot have more than 100 childs. And also, we know that for the multiple node instance, we have a hard limit of 1000. If we go beyond 1000, it will try to remove the previous instance. But we need the instance for the auditing purpose so that we can know in future we are going to archive that instance to know in future, okay, this is the process which ran on this date and this was the thing which this process has captured. So it means if we try to calculate, we have 86,400 divided by 86,400 seconds, and we have x where x is my number of seconds for which I want like to run my scheduler. And we know that we have my 1000 instances. So if I take my batch size as 1000, it means how many times I need to run a loop. If I take my batch size as 1000, it means I need to run it for 86.4 times. And I don't know about anything called decimal, so I'm going to run it about 87 times. So my process is going to trigger 87 instances. In those 87 instances, I'm cunningly or I am, smartly trying to fool my Appian that internally it will run 1000 instances. So it will, how many instances it will run? It will 87,000 instances. But how many instances I need? I just need 86,400 instances. So I will handle that if it has reached this limit, then stop the process. In practical, 86,400 instances is a very big number. So we are going to play in such a order that with small numbers we will try to achieve that goal. Now, this is few other examples which we have completed. Now we will be running this, we will be creating this from scratch so that users can know, okay, this is how the things will work. What we are trying to push? We are trying to push our instances that we must be able to move, have more than 87 or 100 instances of a particular record. Second thing, our internal instance should be able to run 1000 instances till now. Correct? So we are going to run those two scenarios here. Among those two scenarios, based upon the counter of the variable, based upon the variable values which we will be using dynamically, we will change it, and based upon those changes, it will reflect there. So everything is clear, and we will also track. that how much memory it is going to consume. And at the end of the session, I'm also going to show you something that how pass by value and pass by references, or if we use my process as synchronous or asynchronous, how much huge impact it's going to create. And at the end of the session, I'm going to give you a homework in which you are going to create a process in much better way. So that's it for now. Let's come back to our Appian. So for Appian, I will just go install my Appian Academy.